This time I'm going to set up XRDP on our Linux machine so we can actually remote to it on different computers. And it's going to use the same protocol as Microsoft. So Microsoft will use this protocol called RDP, and that stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. So you can actually use the Microsoft program to connect to your Linux machine or any other client that supports the RDP protocol. So that's what we're going to do. All you really need to know is that you can connect to your Linux machine remotely and use all the GUI stuff, that you see normally. So how do we set this up? So we have a few virtual machines here. Obviously, if you have a real machine, it'll be the same thing, right? So we have over here, this is the Ubuntu 14.04 running, was that XFCE 4 here. This one is the Fedora, Fedora Mate Edition, and this is Fedora 20, right? And this one is the KDE by Manjaro. So I have a variety from different distributions with different philosophies on here, and we're gonna set up the RDP on all these fucking things. Okay, so make sure you go to each one of these or any other Linux machine and install xrdp. It should be in your repositories or the AUR depending on what you're using. Anyways, first thing you need to do is, let's say, log into your system and bust out a terminal. Since it's too small to see it here, I'm gonna do it on my terminal. So I'm gonna SSH into that sucker. Okay, and we'll start out with Ubuntu XFCE 4 here, and we're gonna SSH into that. Right, so we're in our Ubuntu system slash Debian, whatever. And the first thing you need to do is install the RDP program. So it would be something like this. XRDP, right? And there you go. Just hit enter and type in your password. Next thing you need to do is go to, we're going to use Nano. And we're going to do X sessions. And in here, all you got to do is type out, this one here, the XFCE4 X sessions. And all you gotta do is save it. Okay, to save in here, all you gotta do is hit what's that? Control X to exit. Control X, and it'll tell you want to save the changes to this. You hit Y, and then you hit enter, and that's it. You're done with that part. The next part is to start the service. Since this one is still using, I think they call it a init system. So you do sudo service. If I spell that right, service xrdp start. So basically we're starting the xrdp server, right? Or I don't know, they call it daemon or server. Basically you're starting the server. Okay, so you do that, and that's pretty much it. The next thing you need to know on this server is that what is your username? So who am I? Just type that sucker in, and your name is, right, well, my name here is Bonester, right? And the other one is you need the IP address of this. So you do IP space A, and there you go. You have your IP here. So this is a local IP that we're doing on our router, right? So we have our IP and we have our username up here. Where the hell is that? Username and IP. That's all you really need to know to connect to this now, using different programs. So now we exit our SSH here. We don't need that anymore. Now if you want to connect to it, all you gotta do is use rdesktop, which you should install if you're on a Linux machine. If you're on Windows, all you gotta use is the Windows remote desktop protocol. I'll show you that later on. So if you're on another Linux machine, you want to test it out real quick, you can do rdesktop, and then you type in what is that? The IP address, which 192.168.1. What is that? 193. There you go, right? And that's it. They have this little window. This is how you would remote. You type in your username. So let's type in our username here, and we'll do And there you go. This is our XFCE. This is the one that we're connecting into, right? They gave you a new one, a new session. I think you can change it later on to use the same session, but right now that's what you can do. That's essentially the same machine as this one in here, right? So that's how you would use it if you want to remote into it using rdesktop and xrdp. So that's how you remote into that for Ubuntu XFCE. Let's go into the next one now. Let's do Fedora. Okay, Fedora is pretty much the same thing with an SSH into it. And this one, was it for Fedora? They used the Mate edition, so this one's 52. Again, you need to install, what was that? I think it's sudo yum install xrdp, right? And you just type in your password, whatever. Next thing you do is do the same thing, nano, what's that, X sessions, nano not found, what the fuck? I'll use vim for this one. Let's do the same thing, we'll use vim though, because I didn't install nano. There you go. In here, the same thing, you need to type in, you know, it really depends on your desktop environment. So this one is using mate, so when you type in mate, what was that, dash, and then session, and that's all you gotta do for that. And then you can save it, but I already have it, so I'm gonna quit. After that, since this one's Fedora is a little bit different, you actually have to do two things actually, or maybe three things. So you do sudo, this one is still using systemd, so systemctl, and then we're gonna do enable, what was that, xrdp, all right? I think you do, yeah, just that's all you gotta do for that one. And the next thing you need to do is also enable sysman, that sucker. What else is there? Oh yeah, another thing is that once we enable it, you have to start it. So we have to start this dumb thing. So here we'll do start, right? And the other one's the same thing, start, and that's it for that. I believe on Fedora they enable firewall by default, so you actually have to enable the right ports on that firewall too. So let me take my notes here. What the hell is that? There you go. This is the one we're gonna do. So to enable the firewall ports, because the default port on RDP is 3389, and that's all you gotta do for that one, and it'll say success. All right, that's pretty much it for the Fedora Mate edition. And now if you exit this sucker, well, you still need to figure out, you know, your username and then your IP, right? So this one is ends in 52, and the username, I use the same username for all these virtual machines. Now we exit this sucker, and this one was, what the hell, why does it change the name? But this one was our Fedora Mate edition, right? And we're gonna use rdesktop again. So this one was, what was it, 52 you said? I said. And there you go. This one is connecting to our Fedora machine. So if I just type in my username correctly, and I just type in my password, it should work. And there you go. This is the Mate edition of Fedora, and that we connected into, right? If you want to learn how to use rdesktop, which I made a video a long time ago, then you can do that. I'll post you in the link in the description. But this one, let's make it bigger here, so you can see if you really want to use the whole thing, right? So this is how it looked like, and you can actually use your Mate this way. You know, all the other programs that comes with it, So I don't know what you got in here. We'll bust this one out. Why not? Accept. So that's how you would use rdesktop to remote into your Linux machine that has a XRDP server on Fedora there. Let's go for the last one. This one is Manjaro KDE, which will represent Arch and KDE and also what is that, systemd. There you go. Anyways, for Manjaro KDE, let's SSH into that. And this one ends in a, what the hell is my notes here? Oh, 201, okay. And in here, what we're gonna do is do the same thing. This one, you have to use Yowert, so you do Yowert, what is that, xrdp. Right, and you want to install this number 2 here in the AUR. So install that sucker, which I already did. Hopefully you know how to use the Yowert. We'll skip that part for now. And the next thing, you actually don't have to do anything in the, what is that, your X sessions, because it's already set up for you. So I didn't really have to do anything. This was already on by default. But if it wasn't on, you would use, what was that one in here? Let's exit out of this. So basically you would probably have to use is this start KDE here, if you didn't use the other one. So let me go back to that one. So in here, if they didn't have any of this by default, you would probably have to type in what is that, start KDE, right? And that would be your new session every time you log in and everything. But since it's already there by default, you don't have to do this step on Manjaro. So we're gonna do no, we don't want to save anything. And all I'll do now is, since this one is using systemd, all you do is type in sudo systemctl, and we want to enable the xrdp, right? And you type in your password and whatever, you're done with that. And the next one was that sudo ctl start, if this is your first time doing it. So you do that, and then you type in your password, and you're good to go. And the last thing, same thing, you type in who am I to figure out your username. I have the same username for all these virtual machines. And then the IP again, you do IP space and A. And now this one is 201, like I said, right? So having all those information, we'll exit our SSH here. And we're gonna use rdesktop. And what is that? We can use the regular one here, and it'll end in 201. And here we go. This is a way that you can connect into your, let's type in our username here, a correct one, and our password. So this one will connect to our KDE system, which is, like I said, this is the Manjaro one. And it's starting up a new sessions, I believe. There you go. And you can actually access it like you normally would, right? So there you go. That's how you do all of that using, you know, rdesktop. If you want to use a GUI instead of using rdesktop, I'll probably make another video on that, because there's a bunch of clients on those, but I haven't tried all of them. But for this one, we just use rdesktop to remote into it. Again, if you want to learn more on rdesktop, just watch my other video on it, right? So how do we do this on Windows? Okay, so let's log into our Windows here. We're gonna do, where the hell's my Windows? Windows is 50. Okay, so this is my Windows, and let's log into this sucker here. Type in my password, right? Alright, so this is Windows, and what the hell, stop doing that, Origin. Fucking assholes. Okay. Make it. You know, that's one thing I always hate about rdesktop and log into Windows, is that it always gives me the black screen or the black background. I want the fucking color background, so I have to do this every time. Okay, so this time we're on Windows, and you can actually use the same protocol that they have to access your Linux, system using XRDP that we installed it earlier. So on Windows, all you do is go to Start, and then you type in, what was that? I think it's called Remote, and they have this remote desktop connection thing here. And all you gotta do is type in the IP. So let's say, for example, we log into our XFCE system that we had earlier. So our XFCE was ends in 193. So that's all you gotta do, and we'll say yes, and it connects to our. Oh no, you have to make this bigger here. There we go. This is bigger here. So this one, we just type in our username and our password. And we should be able to connect to our, what is that, yeah, our XFCE if it works. What the fuck, what's going on? Fail? Alright. There we go, I think I typed in the wrong name or wrong user. But now we connect to our XFCE machine here within Windows, and then you can use it. So right now we're like kind of do like Inception here, a system within a system within another system. But you can see this one we're accessing from Windows, and you can actually remote into your Linux machine doing that way. So hopefully you understood all that dumb shit that we just did. For three different, what was that, distribution would have three different philosophies, and I'll post y'all the notes in the description. That's really it for this one if you want to do a remote desktop connection. And again, if you don't know how to use rdesktop, I'll post you a video in the description. And that'll be it for this one on XRDP. Okay.